my name is Maddie and this is a video about my stitching adventures. So since we met last time, I've been thinking about what I was going to talk about in this video, and I realized that I think I missed off a couple of things that I had worked on between my last two videos and this one. So I'll quickly show those. They're new starts that I did since, I don't know, between July and August, I think. So I have this no count cross stitch kit. So this is a printed kit from Ladybird that I picked up at an L&S somewhere along the way, and I have been working on this a little bit, and I don't think I ever showed you my progress on it. So this is what the it's upside down. This is what the printed Ada looks like. And I've been working this one in color order. So I've been doing number 1 and then number 2, so on and so forth. So I've only got 2 or 3 colors. 2 colors completed, I think. There's the back of it, so you can see I've worked in all of the black stitches. And there was a tiny bit of like bright red stitching there. And now we're on to the true red, which is, you can see my needle in there. So the red stitches go on top of the yellow boxes. So all of those yellow boxes will be these red stitches eventually. So that's that one. I haven't worked on it in a while. I don't know when the last time was that I worked on it. I thought it would make a great travel piece if I have any long trips, because I won't need to reference the pattern as much, if at all. I can just stitch away to my heart's content. So that's that one. And the other new start I have is a lettistitch kit that I've been thinking about. I think I may have seen it on LalaDee, potentially. It is this one. Dreamtime or Dreaming, something like that it's called. I'll get the name of it in a second. But I could not get this out of my head. I've been thinking about it for like 6 months, even though I haven't told you. So, you know, can't defend myself any further than that. Into Dreamland it's called. So it's on a 16 count pre-gridded Ada. And the floss comes on these cards all wound up. And I'm using the paper pattern, and what I'm doing is using highlighters. I've never done that before. I've used Pattern Keeper or just read the pattern. Or with my Mirabilia, I'm just marking off the symbols that I've done, whereas this one I'm using the green sort of blue color to, like on Pattern Keeper, you can highlight your stitches, so I'll go through and highlight the stitches I want to do, and then once I've done them I'll go through with the pink one. So it's a bit slower way of working, but that's what I've been doing with this one, and I haven't got a huge amount done. Like I said, it was a recent start and pretty impulsive. I purchased it and then started it the day that it arrived. But those are the colours there. And I just think they're beautiful, and I'm enjoying every stitch. I think 2/1 on 16 count Ada is beautiful. It's just been a really good time. So that's that one that I think I forgot to show you. And I'm not sure if you guys have seen this bag yet either. That's that one. Speaking of bags, I did finish my Sling bags. Oh, it's a little bit crumpled and it's got bits hanging out. Not very professional. I have been using these. Well, I've been using mine. This one's my partner's. So that's that one. And this one, so that's a hand sanitizer. There's one on the other side you can put a lip balm in. It's got a little mini pocket on the back there that I've got some meds in, and a little front pocket. This is the Sydney Sling bag. I'll have to put the Etsy seller up on the screen. And that's the inside fabric I've got, and I've added, this isn't in the pattern, but I've just added it a little latch to put like your keys and stuff on, and then the back has a flap that's sewn into it. And then of course I had to make a project bag that would fit inside the tiny little sling bag. So that's what this is. And inside this one is a tiny kit that I got hand-me-down from another stitcher. And it's just a little, it's like a greeting card sort of kit. And it says keep in touch. And it's just got a few different colours in there for the pattern. So I've got those in here as well, and a little pair of scissors in there, so I've always got some stitching on me. I thought that was very cute. And I finished up a couple of more project bags. I'll just dig those out. Okie dokie. So this is my little box where all my spare project bags live. So I think you guys have seen this one. It's not one that I finished recently. There's another one that I think you guys may have seen potentially. It's a bit scrappy. It's got two little zippers because I didn't have one at the time. This is a little bag that I purchased at a convention. It's from, I have to put the Etsy name, it's a friend of mine who runs the shop. I'll have to make sure it's still open. But I'll put Fangirl stitches, I'll link that. Here's one. It's a little one. So these sort of size ones I imagine you could put in another project bag to put all of your floss and bits in. Or rather, well, not yours, but mine. There's another little one. It's my first attempt at, or one of my first attempts at doing patchwork. Done a little bit before, but I'm dabbling. Another one, just scrappy dappy. So I ran out of vinyl for it, so I just stitched some vinyl together. A little bit scrappy, but it works. And when I say vinyl, what I actually do is go to Spotlight and I buy vinyl tablecloth, and that's what I use in all of my project bags because it's super cheap. I just go around and scrunch them until I find the one that like doesn't bend or fold and has a good feel, and I don't know how to explain it properly, but that's what I do. And then I've got these ones. So I normally make these style ones in a 14-inch one, but I'd cut out my pieces wrong, so I didn't have enough like vertically to make them 14-inch. So I just made them as big as they could be. It's the same fabric as that other one. I think it's called Pressed Flowers, but I'm not sure who it's by. I know the lining in this one is a Tilda fabric. Outside of that one. So those are all of my project bags. And then I'll give you a closer look at this one because it's empty so you can see. This one's got coffee beans as a lining. I said it was empty, but there's bits in here because it was taken out. Here's a good example of the little strappy thing at work. Can't lose your stuff. And I did put this one together backwards, so the key strap is on the back of it. Oh my goodness, I'm not showing you very well. The key strap is on the back, and then the other pocket's on the front. And it's supposed to be the other way around, but what can you do? You live and you learn, right? And there's that back zipper. I'm not super neat with my fancy pocket there. It just is what it is. Hey, you gotta learn somehow. And the little flap makes a nice place for the zipper to hide. So, and it's got a little clip here so you can wear it either way. And they're quite a good size for a little day bag. Very proud of them. That concludes the sewing adventures segment of this video. And I think I'll just go through my pile top to bottom. So this one is ANZAC by Long Dog Stitches. And I had shelved this one for a little while. I started it for Long Dog Leap Day, right? And then I left it alone for a long time because there was a couple of things I was just mulling over and thinking about. One was the fabric, which is beautiful. It's by Paddock Lane Designs. It's Aussie Flame, 18 count opalescent. But it's textured, right? Because it's opalescent. So it grabs the fabric a little bit. So when I'm stitching, it frays up my thread a little bit and it just doesn't have the same hand feel. So I was a little bit, I don't know, I just needed to adjust it and think about it. And the other thing I've been thinking a lot about is how I might add representation into this pattern for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. So there's Te Aroa in the platypus here, which I think Aotearoa is the Maori word for New Zealand. And so I felt like if we have a word here or text acknowledging a traditional word for New Zealand, I feel like I want to add something that represents Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders' connection to Australia. And from the learning that I've been doing, the English word that's used a lot is country. It's a concept that's more than just the land, more than just the country. It's like a cultural and spiritual, holistic connection to the earth and to the flow of time, and I'm not explaining it very well, but it's a very deep and meaningful connection that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples have to the land on which they came from and what they'll go do that. I'm thinking about just writing in text here, country on the cow here, because that's a good place to write. I don't know if I'd fit text anywhere else. And I was thinking maybe I should look up Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander word for Australia, but I think that would be complicated because there are I think there's over 300 distinct language groups and cultural groups of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples across Australia. So there's like a huge variety of different peoples. I think I've settled on the word country to put in this piece. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's important for me that I include something as a reference or appreciation to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. And so far I'm loving how this design's coming out. We've got the kiwi bird, and then there's crabs here, there's a squirrel, there's a little bird here, some crocodiles, and then I think that's a tiny butterfly there, these waves. I think we're coming up into a whale or something up here. So it's going very well. I think now that I've made some of those decisions, I'll be able to move forward with this piece. You know how we are as stitchers, where I don't know about you, but sometimes I can get really hung up on like an idea or something that I want to do for a piece, and it stops me from working on it until I've decided what I'm gonna do. Like, you get stuck. And I gotta get myself unstuck. But I've got all these beautiful designs to work on, so, and 4 years to finish this. My goal to finish it is the next leap day. So, and it's not the biggest long dog, so I think I'm still on track. Not that I'm tracking in great detail. My card. Next Here's another scrappy little bag. It's an old zipper and I didn't sew it very well, but that's okay. And this is a piece that I was working on last time we spoke. I think the last video I ended saying I'll probably work on this until it's done. And as you do, I worked on it for a few more days, I think, and then I didn't really feel like stitching any more of it, so I put it back in my whip box and pulled something else out. This is the Herbalist. It was a stitch along that's now complete, that was run by Wold on a String, which is by Dara. And I've got a hanging thread because I quite literally was in the middle of working on it and then, oh, I can't even grab it, I'm going backwards. I was in the middle of working on it and then, like I said, for some reason I just didn't want to keep going. So there's the bottom of the Herbalist's skirt there. There we go, there's a close-up on some of the items here. We had a good look at this last time, so very happy to be working away at that one. It's on 40 count, I think it's Newcastle linen by Zweigart. And my threads are a conversion from the original. I kitted it up with Cosmo and a few other bits and bobs that I had in stash. And I've made a few adjustments to the pattern as well, so it's not true to Dara's original, but I'm having fun, so. Next one is Billabong by Itchystitch. It was a freebie on their website at some point. I think that is now gone. I think last time I checked it's not there anymore, which is a bit sad. I'll just pull out my tablet so I can show you the cover photo. There we go. That is what Billabong will look like one day. Long way off. I started Billabong on a 28 count because I wanted to test how I liked full coverage and how I liked to stitch it before I started my supersize max color from Heaven and Earth Designs. So it has been through a few iterations. So you can see down the bottom here, maybe you can't hear me past that. So you can see down the bottom here, it is a little bit more faded. And that is because it is stitched 1/1 half cross on 28 count. And I decided I didn't like that. And then I tried a little bit of 2/1 half cross, and then I decided I didn't like that. So I was happily stitching away 1/1 full cross, which I do like the coverage of. I love how 1/1 full cross on tiny counts sits. It's almost like geometrically. I mean, it's cross stitch, so yeah, it is, but it sits really nice and flat, and it causes this kind of texture to the fabric that's really even and really flat that I really appreciate. And I do want to see this finished, right? Like, I love the image and I want to see it finished, but 1/1 is so slow. But then I said that I don't like 2/1 half cross. So, but now I'm thinking about doing it 2/1 just to get more progress in and get this finished, because there are other full coverage ones that I'd like to start, but I've told myself I can't start them until this one's finished, otherwise I'll just have an endless pile of full coverage pieces that I fear that I'll never get any progress on them, and it would just stress me out. So I'm at a bit of a crossroads with this one. Like I was talking about with the ANZAC sampler, I get to a point where I'm like, I don't know what I want to do with it, and then I don't work on it because I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So who knows? Undecided. It might end up just being, and like, if I change it again back to half cross, the corner of it already looks funny because it's 1/1, right? So this is my practice piece. It's not going to be perfect, so I'm not going to ruin anything if it ends up a bit more textured and a different look to my preferred 1/1. And I'm so new to full coverage. Like, this is my, I think it's my first full coverage piece, if I'm not mistaken. And then I started a supersize max color. So maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I don't know what I like. The one I've been working on most recently is in this bag. This is a kit that I got secondhand at an op shop. It's called Puppies and Squirrels. That's the cover photo. Get my board out here. All of my needle minders are either from Amity Havoc on Etsy or GingerStitchAu, and I think there was one other shop that I may have gotten needle minders from. I can't remember. I don't remember which is from which. So that's the design there. This is how far I've gotten. Dogs and squirrels. The brand is RUYI Choice Goods. RY-1853 is the code for the actual design. I started it in October last year. It's on an 11 count white Aida with the kit floss, and it is 3 strands over 126 stitches high by 103 across, I think, or the other way around, 103 high and 126 across. So it's not big stitch count wise, but I haven't worked on it very much. This was my travel project for a long time, and I did find it a little bit difficult to follow the pattern for this one because there's a lot of like feathering of colors and diagonal stitching, so it's like hard for me to work out how to make my brain follow the pattern, and I haven't been marking the pattern. That's where I got to last time I stitched it. And that is most of my stitching today. But I did get some surprise extra money gifted to me. And I was going to save it for a later date when I got to a cross stitch shop. But then I did the dangerous thing for me, which I really shouldn't do, but sometimes I do. I went on eBay and I searched cross stitch, and then I filtered it for secondhand in Australia. Now I've done that before, and I end up finding all of these amazing things. I love secondhand things and I love old things, right? I just can't help it. I can't help rifling through an op shop in the craft corner where everything's just a mess in boxes. I can't help, you know, looking through the used items related to cross stitch on eBay. And I got into a really dangerous situation this time, and I started bidding on things. I've never bid on anything for eBay ever, but a couple of things have come in. So I bid on 2 lots of floss, and I think I paid $7.50 for one lot and $6.50 for the other lot, and the postage was $11. So what's that? 30 bucks? Maybe? I can't math. It wasn't very much. And there was 30 threads in each lot. So that's 50 cents a skein, maybe? And these are all, most of them are full skeins. Some of them are used. And they're a mixed lot of brands. Some of them are ANZAC, some of them are really old DMC, some of them are... These are Clarks, these variegated ones. Let me see if I can get it to focus. I gotta do the influencer thing. Clarks, apparently. And there's another brand in here that I noticed from my stash that I have from another lot of hand-me-downs. And they're from Shanghai, I think. So that's the packaging on those ones. And then there's also these ones here, which are very different. Haven't seen these ones before. Needles, Designs Needle, I think they're called. So that was one lot. These are from the same seller on eBay. And apparently that seller lists new things every week, so... Oh, these are cool. These are like a satiny, sort of shiny floss. I have no idea what the company is. It's so hard to see. But there's two of those. There's a purple and a pink. And these are the colours on the other one. Yeah, and this one's got old DMC in it, and it's also got Seamco. Seamco brand. This is the other one, Rose brand. I've seen these ones before in old stash, so it's another lot of hand-me-downs that I have this. Oh, it's so hard to see. It does say Rose brand on it though. So I've got a few from this brand. It's made in China. Yeah, beautiful. And this is the old DMC packaging, I think. No, this is an Anchor one. It's Anchor with a paper. I noticed that the new skeins of DMC have like a plasticky packaging on them. They don't have this old paper packaging. So there are a few DMCs in here, not a lot though. It's mostly those other brands, all different ones. So here we go, here's a couple of DMC. That's that one. Very cool. So I've got a fair few solid colours here. In that other lot you saw I had variegated greens and pinks. Those will be fun. So I can't help it. I can't help it. I don't need these. I have a fairly good stash. I showed you last time I spent forever organising my stash. Fine. My new addition that I've got to organise. And lucky last, it's been in the background the whole time, Waterfall dragons. We know it, we love it. Ooh, I have been stitching away diligently, as you do with a full coverage. I have been stitching this in hand for a little while, but I think I put it back in the hoop, yeah. I do that sometimes because it changes how I use my hands, and I don't want to get a repetitive stress injury. So I try and change how I stitch. I will stitch in hand, I'll stitch in hoop sometimes, and sometimes I can even stitch left-handed in a hoop. That took a lot of patience and learning. Let me find the cover photo for you for this one. So that's it there. Waterfall Dragons by Matt Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I have cropped the bottom row of pages there, so that's 141 rows. It is 799 by 858 stitches, 685,542,000 stitches. It's close to 700,000 stitches. I forget that that's how big it is. So when I say it out loud, I get like shock almost. Here we are. Have I got a hanging thread in this too? I do. Look, I just stopped working on them all of a sudden. This is on 22 count Hardanger Salter by, I think it's a Zweigart fabric, I'd have to check. And it's in white. I'm using a fabric marker, water erasable fabric marker to grid this out. It is stitched 1/1 full cross. There, you can see how there's like straight lines in it when you do 1/1 and how it's super smooth. Something about that, man, it just so satisfying. Look at it. Anyway, tiny crosses, very exciting. New colors came in here. So this is a teeny tiny little guy sitting on a rock in the corner. I don't even think you'll be able to see it on the cover photo. So down here on this rock we have a dragon, and sitting at its feet are two tiny little guys. And this little guy right here, that's their shirt. Right there. How exciting, thrilling. And I think this, so this is a shadow of the wing, I think, of that dragon. And then this little bit here, I think, is the tip of their wing. Very exciting. Very, very exciting. Loving it. I'm coming up on a page finish too, so the edge of the page is here. And I'm so excited about that. I cannot wait to finish this page. I'm going to move up. This is a partial page on the slide here. I'm going to move up to that partial page, and I think I'm going to work color completing in that page. Just for a different vibe. And then I'm going to stack my, I'm going to complete my pages diagonally across the design. So, very exciting. That's enough of that. Now hopefully that's everything that I've worked on since I last saw you. If not, that's okay. You'll see my projects pretty soon. I don't have a huge whip rotation, so I don't actually know how many I have, and that's kind of intentional because it kind of stresses me out to know the number. I don't know. I have some. I have good variety. So, probably seen more than half, maybe 2/3 of what I have in whips today, and you'll probably see more of them next time. So, you get to see most of my whips on a regular rotation. If you watch a couple of my videos, you'll be able to see all of them. And I did the mid-year whip parade recently as well, which I think has all of these on it. I think it was only those two new ones that I showed you at the start that you may not have seen yet because they were a bit impulsive. The printed kit was a planned one because I finished something else and then brought that in. The Into Dreamland one was purely impulsive. I really didn't need to start that. Like I said, I wasn't supposed to start a full coverage until I'd finished billabong, but they're different full coverages, right? That one's a kit, on 16 count. That one's not a kit. It's on pack and keeper. They're different, right? They're not the same thing. That's it, right? Having a good variety of different styles of stitching. I find that super satisfying. Some things, you know, I'll be stitching on a smaller count and different flosses, and some things on a bigger count, and sometimes I prefer to work on some things in hoops, sometimes I prefer to work on it in hand, and variety is the spice of life. So with that, I think that wraps up pretty much everything I wanted to talk about today. My pile of whips behind me here. I'm going to take myself over to the couch and I'm going to pull out Waterfall dragons and stitch and watch some Flosstube. So until next time, happy stitching everyone.